Homework checker for Thursday. First question is a division statement. 562 divided by 3. So, if you're solving partial quotients, you'll use your little cheat sheet here to help you solve this. So you'll fill in your divisor and all of the answers that go along with it. And while you're thinking about this, you're thinking, how many times can 3 go into 362? Well, I know it can go in at least 100 times, which 100 groups of 3 is 300. So then you subtract that out, and you get 262. So now you're thinking, how many times can 3 go into 262? Well, it can't go in another 100 times, but I can get 50 groups of 3. So if I do 50 groups of 3, 50 groups of 3 is 150. So I subtract that out. 2 minus 0 is 2. 6 minus 5 is 1. 2 minus 1 is 1. So how many groups of 112 can I make with 3? So I see here I have 20 times 3 is 60, and then it jumps to 50 times 3. Let me try 30 times 3, which is 90. So that'll work. Let me try 40 times 3, which is 120. Too big. So let's go with the 30 groups of 3. So 30 groups of 3 is 90. Subtract that out. 2 minus 0 is 2. 1 minus 9, or I can borrow and get 11 minus 9. 11, 10, 9. That's 2. How many times can 3 go into 22? That should be a quick fact. So you're thinking 1 times 3 is 3. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 5 is 15. 3 times 6 is 18. 3 times 7 is 21. So, well, 7 groups of 3 is 21. Subtract that out, you get 1 left over, which will be your remainder. So now we add our sidebar numbers up. We have 100. 50 plus 30 is 80. 7 ones. Remainder of 1. Okay, if you're solving this traditionally, it's very similar. We cover up all of our place values except our hundreds place. How many times can 3 go into 5? Once. 1 times 3 is 3. Subtract that out, you get 2. 3 can't go into 2, so we have to bring down our 6. How many times can 3 go into 26? That's what we're thinking about our facts. So it can go in 8 times. Okay? And so when I solve 8 times 3, I get 24. Subtract that out, I get 2. Bring down my 2. How many times can 3 go into 22? It can go in 7 times. 21. So I get 187, remainder 1. Next question is asking me to complete the chart to find the factors for each number. Circle the common factors for 16 and 20. So when we think factor, hopefully you're thinking rainbow or tree. And so you're going to solve the factors for 20. So what equals 20? 1 times 20. 2 times 10. Nothing times 3. And 4 times 5. Now you're finding the factors for 16. 1 and 16. 2 and 8. Nothing times 3. 4 and 4. So now we have to find the common factors. What do they both have? Both have 1s. They both have 2s. They both have 4s. And that is it. So it's asking us for the greatest common factor. What is the GCF? The biggest number they both have in common? That's our 4. So the GCF is 4. Make sure you're showing your work. Next question. There were 8 bags of potatoes with 13 potatoes in each bag. The cook used all but 6 of the potatoes. How many potatoes did he use in the recipe? So this is similar to the donuts question you had on Tuesday. So this is more than one step. So what information does it give us? 8 bags, 13 potatoes in each bag. So we have to figure out how many potatoes we have in all. And then the cooked used all but 6, so we have to find the difference. So we have 2 steps. We have our 8 bags with 13 in each bag. Okay, so I could add this over and over again, or I can make my life easy and multiply 8 times 13. And so I'm figuring out how many potatoes I have total. 8 times 3 is 24. 8 times 1, 8, 9, 10. So there's 104 potatoes in all. And the word problem says the cook used all but 6. So I'm going to take that number and subtract 6 from it, because that's how I have to find my difference. So 4 minus 6, I got to do some borrowing here. And when I borrow, I get 14 minus 6. So I can count up, right? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And that is 8. 9 minus 0 is 9. So the cook used 98 potatoes for the recipe. Best answer, B. Next question. Tina is cutting 6 yards of ribbon into 9 pieces of equal length. Which expression represents the fraction of a yard each piece will be? So I can eliminate A and D because they don't even show a fraction. So now I have to figure out, what am I dividing? So I'm taking 6 yards of ribbon and dividing them into 9 pieces. And here's a visual representation of that. I have my 6 yards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Each one are divided into 9 pieces. So if I take one out of these, it'll be 6/9. So that's the answer, B. Which fraction is simplified from 18/24? So I have to find my GCF of these numbers to simplify and reduce it down. So I'm looking for 18/24. 18/24. And when you find it, it's right here. And so my GCF is 6. So if I divide that out, 18/24 divided by 6 over 6. 18 divided by 6 is 3. 24 divided by 6 is 4. That's equivalent to 3/4. So if you look here and we reduce that, just like we talked about, 18/24, if we reduce it all the way, boom, we get our 3/4. So the best answer here, C. Next one, you're adding 2 fractions, 1/3 plus 1/4. But if you notice, our denominators are different. And when our denominators are different, we have to find the common denominator to add those. So here's how I set mine up. First, we have to skip count by our denominators and find the LCD, the lowest common denominator. So we'll skip count by 3. 3, 6, 9, 12. I'm going to stop there because I know 4 and 12 have something to do with each other. So 4, 8, 12. So my LCD is 12, which means that's my new denominator. So then I ask myself, how did I get from 3 to 12? Well, my answer is right here. I multiplied by 4. 4 over 4. So now I multiply straight across. 3 times 4 I know is 12. 1 times 4 is 4. So then I ask myself, how did I get from 4 to 12? Multiply by 3. So 4 times 3 is 12. 1 times 3 is 3. Now that they have the same denominator, I can add them. So I take 4 12s plus 3 12s. Denominator stays the same because they're same here. 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 12ths. And then I ask myself if that can be reduced. If I find 7 12ths, it's right here. My GCF is 1, which means it's simplified. So the best answer is C. Alright, our social studies. Which of the following bodies of water offered a safe harbor for ships docking in Virginia? So this body of water is also our watershed. Number 2, which region is located in the southwestern section of Virginia? This has elevated land that's flat on top. Number 3, this wetland offers a safe haven for Virginia wildlife. This is the same area that George Washington surveyed, and it looks very sad, and there's a synonym in that word that means sad and dark because a lot of it is burned down. Number 4, the state of Virginia is north of this state. So if we have Virginia here, Virginia is north of which state? So which state would be right underneath Virginia and it's north of?